everybody. Welcome to Hit Fantasy, your source of cricket analysis, commentary, and fun. I'm your host, Sean, joined by just one cricket fanatic today, Rahul. So, today we're going to be talking about the Afghanistan versus South Africa match, the third match in the ICC Champions Trophy. And it was a rough one for Afghanistan fans. South Africa take home the victory after setting up a total that Afghanistan could not chase in the second innings there. But yeah, incredible performance by our hit fantasy player of the game, Ryan Rickelton, with a century. An incredible knock from him. The already so many centuries in this tournament, which is very exciting as a cricket fan. But yeah, brilliant innings by South Africa. They looked to be batting with ease today. They had four 50s all around, including a Temba Bavuma, Rassie Dussen, and a quick knock by Aiden Markram, who looked very much in touch today. And yeah, great job by South Africa there. The bowling for Afghanistan, it was not as expected. Faruqi was expensive, Nur Ahmed was expensive, but Nabi picked up two wickets. I think he picked up Dezorzi's wicket as well as Bavuma's wicket there. So yeah, Afghanistan's bowling was not as good as we had initially thought, at least in this game. As for their batting, though, it was a struggle. None of the top order batsmen could get going. Rahmat Shah was trying to scrap the game for them, but no other batsman could, or no other player on their team could get over 20 runs. So it was just really rough for them. Much tougher to bat in the second innings from we can tell from most of these games so far. And just an incredible bowling performance. Rabada picking up three wickets, and then the rest of the bowlers who bowled also picking up a wicket each. So yeah, great job by South Africa. They're as strong as they looked on paper, it seems. So Rahul, what do you think of the performance of both sides today?
I mean, yesterday in the preview, I said Afghanistan would be favorites to win this game, considering two factors. One, I thought there'd be a lot more turn, but there was not a lot of assistance for the spinners on this particular pitch. We didn't see Maharaj turn it a lot either in the second innings. Although he had more assistance in the second innings, there was not too much. And second, I thought whoever wins the toss and bats first would have a huge advantage. So in that way, Afghanistan losing the toss was a big factor, I feel. But kudos to South Africa for actually taking the bold decision to bat first on a pitch they wouldn't know how it would play. But as we've seen the trend in this Champions Trophy already, it's much harder to bat under lights in the second innings than in the first innings because the ball just starts turning a lot more and just holding in the surface in the second innings. And even the one game that was one chasing, where India beat Bangladesh, it was tough to even chase under par scores. So, I mean, uh, yeah, it was clearly a good toss to win for South Africa, but Afghanistan played nowhere near their best either. You got to say that. Bowling wise, I thought they didn't do too bad a job to restrict them to 315, although, like you mentioned, a lot of the bowlers were a touch on the expensive side. If they could have reduced maybe 20, 25 runs, it could have been a simpler chase. Maybe they could have approached it in a different way. But yeah, the batting is what I'm most disappointed with. I mean, um, Ramrul Gurbaz, Ibrahim Zadran have to do more for this team because they're the backbone of this batting lineup. And they're going to have to, like I mentioned yesterday, it's crucial that they bat the whole power play if Afghanistan are to have a good chance of winning the game. And unfortunately, they both got out within the first 5 6 overs, and that's just a backbreaker for Afghanistan because then you have to have guys like Omar Zai and Rahmat Shah have to do the rebuilding, and unfortunately their middle order is not their strongest suit in restructuring innings. They can hit with power, but like batting through the middle overs restructuring innings is not their strongest suit, as we saw in the T20 World Cup as well. So yeah, I just feel they were off their game, but I mean, we got to give it to South Africa as well. Like you said, Ryan Rickelton played a magnificent knock. Probably wouldn't have even been playing if Heinrich Klaassen was fit this game, but got that opportunity and showed why he belongs. I mean, what a talent. He's been consistently performing in franchise leagues and now performs for South Africa here as well. So definitely, there's no chance they'd be considered dropping him once Klaassen gets fit now. He's such a quality player, and yeah, I think South Africa just bowled well as a unit as well. Rabada picking up wickets, Jansen, Maharaj bowled well. So I think overall it was and Mulder also played well. So overall it was a fantastic display by South Africa, and Afghanistan just needs to put up a better effort in the next two games, which I'm definitely confident that they can.
That's a fair point. How do you think this performance could affect the mentality of a less experienced team like Afghanistan? Because, as you know, they haven't played in an ICC Champions Trophy. In general, they haven't played too many ICC tournaments with these big nations. So, how do you think this could affect their mentality potentially going forward?
The less experienced factor is the issue. It could be a hit on them. It could take a toll, and they need to make sure that they start off on top in the next game. They can't let the other team gain advantage early because then it could slide real fast, especially considering the implications of this game. So if they should first, hopefully it's a luck base, but win the toss and bat first because batting first, they're a completely different team than chasing because
Hmm.
the bowling is a stronger suit. So if they can bat first and get around 280, 290, gives so much for their quality spinners to play with. So I just hope they can bat first, but that's not in their control. But no matter what they do, just get off to a strong start so that the memories of this game are more faded away and the current game comes more into the picture and the momentum just drives them forward in the current game. But yeah, like you said, it could take a hit on them, and that's why it's so crucial to just throw this game away and just take the positives and move on in such a short tournament.
Yeah, and this is arguably the strongest side in this group in South Africa. So, yeah, just take this one with a grain of salt. And the bowling attacks that you're going to face in these next two games are significantly weaker than Afghanistan, or sorry, than South Africa, I think. So, this could be the worst we see of Afghanistan in this group or in this tournament, hopefully for them. But
Yeah,
as
for sure. And like, we know England is susceptible to spin on tracks with any assistance, as we saw in the India series. And Australia has a very, very inexperienced batting lineup other than Travis Head and Smith. So considering that, Afghanistan, I still feel have a great chance if they can just pull up their socks, just take the learnings from this game and just apply them to the next two.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. You mentioned the absence of Heinrich Claassen. It's a little bit of suffering from success for South Africa. They have so many good options. So who would you drop to bring Heinrich Claassen back in? Because you can't drop Rickelton now, as you said. How would they change up the batting order to bring in Claassen, perhaps?
I mean, you can't drop the captain, so the only option would be dropping Tony DeZorzi and bringing Klaassen in and just moving Bavuma to open the batting again, like he's been doing for the past while now for South Africa. So that's the only change I can see because you're not touching that middle order. That's just powerhouse, absolute powerhouse. And Ryan Rickelton is basically undroppable now. He's played such a magnificent knock. Bavuma is undroppable because he's the captain. So considering that, it has to be Klaassen for Dezorsi. What about you? What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't see any other option. The middle order batsmen in Vander Dussen, Markram looked very much in touch today. Bavuma did his typical crawl, but he can't be dropped. He's the captain for whatever reason. So yeah, South Africa are left in a bit of a pickle there, but it's a good pickle. Klaassen is class, so it'll only help them, I think, as long as it doesn't mess up the rhythm or anything like that. But yeah, let's talk about, as we previously mentioned, our hit fantasy player of the game. If you guys want to check out a wonderful fantasy app that we put together where you can pick your team, go head to head with your friends, check out hitfantasy.com. It's so much fun. And we think you all are really going to like it for this coming IPL season, as when we officially launch. So yeah, check it out. But the hit fantasy player of the game is Ryan Rickelton. He had an incredible performance today, as we said, 103 off 106, one more century in this tournament, and we hope to see good things from him to come. He looked very much in touch today, hitting the ball incredibly cleanly uh, over the boundary multiple times. So yeah, good job, Ryan Rickelton. You're our fantasy player of the day. Rahul, do you have any thoughts on Rickelton?
I mean, yeah, outstanding knock. He looks such a class player, and it's crazy that South Africa. It's been this long for them to discover such a talent. And I hope he just has a long run for South Africa in all formats of the game because he looks like an all format player. He's performing in every format, and he looks like the next big thing in South African cricket. So hopefully they can just use his talent wisely, and I think he'll be a big player to come, and he'll be crucial in this Champions Trophy too for South Africa.
100%. We saw him have a good knock in a test match for South Africa
Yeah.
as well. He's a big talent, future of South Africa, African batting, I think. But with that, let's move on to tomorrow's game, the long-standing rivalry, Australia versus England. This is going to be an exciting one for batting. Maybe not bowling. We might see a lot of people getting hit for runs tomorrow, but yeah, it's going to be a very exciting game. The fourth game in the ICC Champions Trophy between Australia and England. Rahul, what are your thoughts on the game and potentially the things to watch? Because Australia, all new bowling lineup, all their mainstays are absent from this tournament, as we mentioned in the preview of this Australian side. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good match. Like you said, both bowling lineups are on the weaker side. They're both batting heavy teams, considering Australia's not having their main attack. So I definitely think it'll be the a batting showdown. Even if the pitch has something in it for the bowlers, I feel like these neither of these teams can exploit it to the best of their ability. So, yeah, I think it'll be a really good match, and both sides have quality batters who can hit from ball one, which might play to the disadvantage as well. But if the pitch is a good one, I think we'll be in for a great game. Uh, as far as the teams are concerned, I think we mentioned in the preview the teams they should go with as well, but I just feel like. For Australia's strength, they should probably win the toss and bat first, or either both of these teams should just win the toss and bat first and try and outbat the other team, purely because your bowling is not the greatest. So if you have to try and put pressure on the opposition, so try and get 360, 370, and just make it impossible for the other team to chase. Because if you end up giving up 360, 370, you could be gone before the second innings even starts mentally. So yeah, I just approach it by trying to bat the opposition out of the game by batting first.
Hmm. This is the first game taking place in Lahore, so we'll see how the pitch plays there. But who do you think will be the hit fantasy player of the game in this one? I mean, arguably, you can say it's a batsman, given the quality of both of these sides in terms of their batting. But who do you think will
Well,
be?
yeah, you can go first.
Ooh, I mean, honestly, I can see Travis Head take on this England bowling lineup with ease. He's a talent. He's in touch. He didn't. He hasn't really played too much ODI cricket recently, but we know Head is class, and I think there's a good chance we can see a Head century tomorrow. So he's my prediction for hit fantasy player of the game.
Well, I've done it twice and I've got it horribly wrong both times. I said Virat Kohli in India, Bangladesh, and I said Ramanullah Gurbaz yesterday, and I got it horribly wrong both times. But hopefully, third time's a lucky charm. I'm gonna say Steve Smith. I think we're gonna see a Steve Smith masterclass tomorrow.
Mm.
Uh, might not be at a great like 150 strike rate or something, but I feel like we'll see a really good innings, and I feel he's so crucial to his batting lineup, considering everyone around him is the hit or miss type of player, including Travis Head. If he hits big, but there's that bigger chance. There's that chance he misses as well. But Steve Smith, I feel, is more of like a insurance policy. Like you can bank on him to score you some runs. So, yeah, I just feel one of Travis Head or Steve Smith is gonna go off tomorrow. You're saying Head, so I'll just say Steve Smith. Yeah, I see a big innings for him in store. So Steve
Yeah,
Smith is my hit fantasy player of the game for tomorrow. Hopefully, I get it right this time. Or get anywhere close.
I mean, we saw Steve Smith perform in the Big Bash as well. So, and I think that's the last time he played, aside from I think the series against Sri Lanka. But yeah, let's see. It'll be a very exciting game between the two. Who are you predicting is going to win?
I mean, it's a tough one, but I'm gonna say Australia just purely because of their winning the ability for them to win these kind of games. Like,
Mm,
I know they're a weak side. I feel like they're one of the weaker sides in this tournament. But just purely because they have experience winning games, I just think they'll out muscle England tomorrow, and I just feel the likes of Steve Smith. Like Steve Smith is. a better player, a better batter than anyone on that team, in my opinion, England team, in my opinion. And although there is Joe Root, I just feel like the likes of Steve Smith and if Marnus Labuschagne plays, those two can actually consolidate in innings. But for England, everyone just goes from ball one except for Joe Root, and I don't think that's the right approach, especially on these pitches that have something in it for the bowlers. So I'm gonna say Australia.
Hmm. I know I said Travis Head is going to be the hit fantasy player of the game, but I mean, I think he'll score the most fantasy points. But I really think England could win this one, just because of the weakened Australia bowling lineup. I know England are a little bit out of touch. It's against India that they played, so it's hard to be in touch. But I mean, I just see a lot of strength in the England batting. They can bat all the way down to 11, as we've said multiple times on this channel. So I can see a big performance from Joe Root as well. He's a talent. He's in form. He was in form in this SA20. Maybe not in the ODI series against India, but I think he can find some form against this Australian team that's looking a lot weaker than it usually does. So yeah, my pick is England for this one.
I feel like Zampa will play a big role tomorrow.
Oh yeah, most definitely. He's the top spinner on Australia, and we'll see how Lahore plays. We'll see if there's anything in it for the spinners there.
But yeah, as far as this game is concerned, I feel like the Zampa versus Adil Rashid contest will really determine who turns out on top. Two quality leg spinners. I really want to see how they both fare. Okay, but before we end off, I'd like to take over Nyanish's segment for the hit or miss challenge. So first, let's look at yesterday's answer and winner. Uh, so the answer for yesterday, who played for both South Africa and Afghanistan, that's Hashim Amla. He played in a South African Afghan combined 11 exhibition match, and he played World Cups for 12 years from 2008 to 2019, and he also scored 100 in a World Cup in a losing cause. So let's see who got the question right. Sanjeev Makesh. Congrats, Sanjeev. Very well done. That was a pretty tough question, but glad that you're on top of your cricketing knowledge and facts and were able to somehow answer that correctly. Kudos to you. Shout out.
Good job.
So let's look at today's question now, which I think Nanish is throwing a bit of some googlies here, but I feel like this one's not as much of a googly as last one. I was an Australian batsman who scored over 300 runs in a test innings against England, breaking multiple records. But despite my huge knock, my team still lost the match. Who am I and how many runs did I score?
Ooh.
You all can figure this out. Put the answer in the comments below and try and answer both parts for the shout out. Or even if you answer one, we'll see. Depends on how others answer. But yeah, Nanish is starting to bowl some rippers.
Yeah, you might have to dig deep into the vault for this answer. I'll just say that. But
Yep.
that should be it for this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in for tomorrow's Australia versus England review. We're excited for that. So catch you guys next time. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.